Hi, I'm Darren Sneed with Niagara Falls Street News. Today we'll be talking to Mr. Herb Lewis. He's a candidate for Niagara Falls School Board. First of all, I'd like to say, Mr. Herb, thanks for letting us come to your residence to do this interview, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity to be interviewed by Niagara Falls Street News.
All right, sir. Let's go and get to the point. Let's let you know we're going to have some tough questions today for you. If you want a tough job, you better answer some tough questions.
I
You
agree
with that?
Yes.
First of all, I'd like for you to give the audience a little bit of background about yourself so they get to know you.
I attended Lacey Senior High School, graduated from there in 1992, and went on to Buffalo State College where I studied computer science. Currently, I'm an employee at the Syndicate Gaming Corporation where I do security.
Security? School board education? That's all right. I'll tell you what, can you give me a little something about your platform or some of the things you would like to accomplish if you, not if, I know you don't like if, when you get elected
Yes.
as a school board?
One of the things that I want to is bring back the fundamentals in basic education. We have a lot of students in here who fail not because they're incapable of being taught, but because the resources aren't being allocated so they can be taught. For example, if you look at the increase that the superintendent got last year, that money should be allocated to where you can address the problems that at-risk youth are facing or at-risk students are facing in elementary schools, because that's where your dropout rate starts to materialize. Far too often we believe that the dropout rate materializes in what they call middle school now and in high school, when in actuality that materializes in elementary school, because that's where your basic building blocks are, and they start to build the foundation upon for you to learn as you graduate and get into higher grades.
Yeah, it sounds like a good question. So basically what you're saying is that being at the way the school district is now, and being that it's ranked number 92 out of
Yes.
97 school districts in Western New York, basically,
New York State.
you're saying, no, it's New York.
New York
Western
State.
New York.
Western
You
New
have
York.
92 out of 97 districts in Western New York. You're ranked 92,
Mhm.
right? And do you think that being that your school has averaged around in the 90s for like the last 5 years, that a superintendent should be asking for a pay raise?
No, I believe the superintendent makes too much money as it is. That money needs to be reallocated, like I said earlier, so we can have programs implemented that targets the students who are at risk of falling behind their classmates. And they in turn become the dropouts that we see on the streets. We always hear, particularly on Niagara Falls Street News page, that there's too many children who are involved in criminal elements, whether it be drug-related, gang-related, or vandalism. And why do you think that is? When these children have only a 6th, 7th, 8th grade education, they have absolutely no chance of getting a job like I have, or like you have, or like you all have, and they're left with the streets.
Yeah, that is true. So the 3% tax increase that you're now going to ask the public to support, I take it that you disagree with that.
Well, you can't do much about that, unfortunately. That actually comes from the reduction in state aid. But what I would tell people is this: if we are going to burden the taxpayer unnecessarily, then we need to make sure that that money is actually put to use. And when I say use, I mean in programs designed to stop students from falling behind. What type of programs those are, I'm not at liberty to say, because I don't have all the answers to all those questions, because there's no one simple solution for every student. Every student comes from their unique set of circumstances, and with myself, the other school board members, the community, students, teachers, and administrators, I'm sure we can all put our heads together to come up with common sense solutions to these problems.
Right. Have you reached out to any other school board members?
I haven't had the ability to yet.
Okay. So I've seen you walk up and down the streets, say of Niagara Falls. I'm assuming that you're talking to the public on your quest.
Yes.
Right? So what are some of the things that they see was wrong with your school district, and what are some of the things that you are telling them that you will try to help them out with?
Well, they point out the shortage of books, paper, things that I took for granted when I went to school. We were never sent home with a note for the next coming year stating what materials that student needs to bring back. When I first heard it, I was like, what is the district collecting taxes for, and what are they doing with that money if they're sending these requests home to the students? Well, I'm sorry, for the parents with the students, there has to be something wrong with the money management system of the district. And obviously, the keepers of that money are the school board members. They vote on everything from union contracts to raises to what's going to be done with buildings to upcoming contracts and budgets. So if you're not addressing that, the issue that is really relevant to students learning, then how do the students learn?
Good point. Good point. So I have another question for you. You mentioned the dropout rate,
Yes.
right? What are some of the improvements do you think, right, that needs to be done as far as helping with the dropout rate?
Parent involvement is first and foremost. I unequivocally agree that parental involvement must be done in order to address some issues with the dropout rate. With that being said, unfortunately, there's a lot of parents that don't have any value in education because they themselves are greatly educated. But we cannot punish the students for their parents. Students don't get to choose who their parents are. Parents do get to choose the level of involvement. Now, with that being said, we need to understand what risk factors play into that. We have poverty, which is 42%, affects 42% of the students in this district. That's almost 1 out of every 2 students. So when you are not addressing the needs of those students who are struggling, they're going to continue to struggle. And those are the type of things that pulls our district scores down. If we address those issues early on in the education process, we could begin to turn things around.
One more question. Now, as far as parent involvement, in some cases, the parent, I hate to use the word, are not educated, but I'll say undereducated,
Yes.
right? Would you believe in, I'll say, increasing the adult learning aspect of your school district?
I believe education should be not only a family but a community-wide involvement. If you have parents who are involved in the community, it's more than likely that other parents will want to be involved in that as well. It's like Abraham Lincoln said, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. I feel the same way, and a lot of these kids do. If you take a kid that's doing well in school, that kid is probably more likely to come home and willing to help around the house and be an example in his or her community as to what a student with good grades can do. Now, conversely, if you take that child, comes home, he's doing bad on the test, or he's bad-mouthing his mother, he's in the community causing vandalism, nothing gets solved by that. So we want to make sure that these children have the same opportunities, even if they come from an impoverished family, that a child comes from a well-to-do family has.
Yeah, I concur with that. So, one more thing. More and more we're hearing about, I'll say, bullying, right, in your school districts, not just Niagara Falls, but
Yes.
school districts nationwide, right? What are some of the things we can do to try to combat bullying?
You have to get to the grassroots effort of why bullying begins. Now, I haven't had a chance to look at the suspension rates in the school district and why, but the sooner you address why bullying occurs, the better able we will be able to get a handle on that.
True. During your further walks with the community, do you think you promised them something that you're not going to be able to follow through with?
I have only made one promise. That is, if you continue to vote for the same thing, you will get the same results. I am not a person who's going to make campaign promises just to get elected. I'm going to give you the honest to God truth. And the truth is, I am not affiliated with any type of city organization or school organization. I don't believe in nepotism. I don't reward friends. I don't reward family with jobs that they are unqualified for and that they are only in it for the paycheck. The way the superintendent's position was passed on from brother to sister is a shame. And those people who voted for that need to address why they are sitting on the board. If you are taking money out of the pocket of the taxpayers to give to somebody when the district is not performing well, then there's a sad, sad state that exists in Niagara Falls.
True. All right, speaking of teachers within the district, do you believe that teachers should live in the district, or do you want the best qualified teacher in the schools?
I believe that teachers should reside in the district, and here's why. 2 weeks ago, I was in the supermarket, and I happened to bump into my college advisor. Now, my college advisor doesn't live anywhere around here, so for me to see her was a shock. And when I told her what I was doing, she was ecstatic. She said, "I can't believe it." I said, "Well, you know," I said, "in this city we have a lack of leadership." And I believe that when teachers see what students come from, they have a better understanding, and they're not so quick to always label kids as being bad students when they see what they come from. And the only way you can see where some of these students come from is to actually be immersed in that environment where they come from. When I was doing my walking through some of the city, I happened to be on Cayuga Island. I seen the homes out there, and the homes are very nice. All the people out there do well, and it's almost like they're insulated because very few people from downtown go out there, and they don't come downtown. So they don't see the abject poverty. They don't see the vacant lots. They don't see the children who have an issue daily with getting enough food intake. So how do you expect students who don't eat enough to go to school and learn? You can't feed a mind if a stomach is empty.
True. I know my mom used to feed me well. So, but, you know what I'm saying, everybody don't have that same type of home environment either.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I have a question for you. They cut the polling places from 24 to 8.
Yes.
Right? Do you think that's going to affect the voter turnout for the school board election?
I believe it will have a significant impact. How significant, I'm not sure. May 21st will determine that date. But what I've been telling people is, particularly those who are older and they have a tougher time getting to the polls, is reach out to me and I will make sure that you get an absentee ballot. Also, on voting day, I will be sponsoring transportation along with legislator Owen Steed for those who need it. I can be contacted via Facebook or at 285-3422. All you have to do is leave your name, your phone number, and I will get back to you, and I will ensure that you can get to the polls so you can make your voice known about who you want to spend the money that you're being taxed for.
Now, I know there's somebody out there right now saying, a polling place closed. How do I know where?
You should have gotten one of these in the mail today. Today being May 9th, 2013. This will direct you to where your new polling place is. If you have not gotten one of these, I would suggest that you call the school board and let them know. I can also tell you where your polling place is if you contact me at the information I just submitted previously.
Cool. Well, I tell you what, in closing, sir, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I've been doing a lot of walking over the last month. Actually 3 weeks now that the weather's broken. And a lot of people are saying they're tired of all the retreads, of all the nepotism. I stand before you as a common man who works hard, who believes in hard work being rewarded. If you want a change, vote for a change. I am that change.
Hey, thanks for the interview, sir.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.